The process of becoming an expert is not necessarily the process of learning to copy every other expert that's out there. But you ought to be aware of what's out there so that you can make some choices about it. Okay, and experts have this, experts do this sort of thing. Self-criticism, self-training, coherent explanations. You've got to be able to justify your methodology. That's why I have these models in my mind that I can speak about like that. Because if someone says, why should I believe your test methodology is any good? I go, let's talk about it. Let me lay it out for you here. And it starts looking like that whiteboard over there, like any number of whiteboards here at Google, just full of stuff. Which part of it would you like to talk about? And if I can expand on that on demand, people go, whoa, this guy knows what he's doing. I have not yet found someone who has the patience to sit through an entire description of my test methodology. They all give up. They'll tap out. They go, okay, you know testing. You know testing. Please stop talking to me about this. I'm so bored. Okay. And I find that rhetorically useful. Steve McQueen, Towering Inferno. This is where I get my mental image of an expert performing, okay? I found this on Google last night. This is what he says when he comes on his first scene. He's trying to size up the fire situation in Towering Inferno in the 70s. He says, exhaust system, sprinklers. Why aren't the sprinklers working? And then he turns to the architect. Jim, give us a quick refresher on your standpipe system so you can learn on the fly. Are these elevators programmed for emergencies? What floor are your plans on? Okay, he's trying to figure out where he should set up his forward post. He figures it out. He says what he's worried about. He gives a preliminary analysis. Then he wants a list of tenants. The guy doesn't understand why he wants. He starts explaining, this is why I need it. Because of these toxic gases. Should I go on? And the guy goes, no. One tenant list coming up. I loved this. It was years. It was 1999 before I realized that in 1978 or something, I got a picture of what it means to be an expert, and I wanted to emulate that. Steve McQueen, the fire chief in Towering Inferno, is the expert I want to be. Not in the realm of fires, but in the realm of sizing up a testing situation. And I want to share that because it's a lot of fun to feel like you could come in and people are all confused around you. And you could say, okay, people, I know what questions to ask. I know what to do. Calm down. I'm an expert. I love that idea. Okay, now expertise is situated socially, psychologically, and technically. Here's my personal vision of testing expertise. I say to people, I can test anything. Yes, under any conditions, in any time frame. Can you do that? I can. That's my personal vision. And then I go into a little bit into the fine print. Okay, I can test anything relative to my standing in the local community because different communities define expertise differently. A government community is very different from a video gaming community when it comes to testing, for instance. And it depends how hard I want it. And it depends on my technological insight. The more I know about the technology, the better I will be able to test it. All other things being equal. There are some downsides to knowing technology, but pretty much knowing technology makes you better as a tester. And there's a little bit more I have to say. Relative to these things, I can test anything such that, and the top one is, or the second one is the one I think is most important. I do at least as well as any other expert would do in the same situation. Okay, if I'm with another test expert and we're competing, and that guy knows just as much about the technology as I do and wants it just as much as I do, and then I'm saying that an achievable vision of test expertise is I can test it about as well as he can. And these other things, I'll deliver useful results. I'll collaborate effectively with other people. I'll advise my clients about how they can help me do better work. I will faithfully and ethically serve. I have a code of ethics. I use the IEEE code of ethics. I also like the ACM code of ethics, and that guides me sometimes in what I'm doing. It helps me justify not doing certain things that I believe are unethical. And because I'm independent, it's easy for me. I just fire my clients if they want me to do something I think is not right. Here's my personal testing syllabus. Now the rubber's meeting the road. You want to know what it takes to be a testing expert? This is my vision of what you have to know to be a great, fabulous testing expert. And notice how different this looks than what you expected. I think you need to know about general systems theory, general systems analysis. I think you need to know about epistemology, applied epistemology, which includes things like experiment design, the logic of experiments, the ability to analyze texts that people put together where they describe what they want, and the ability to break that down and to get hidden meanings out of it. Information theory is important too. That should be up there. I just realized it's missing. Cognitive science. How do people actually think? Thank you. How do people actually think? Not how should they think, that's epistemology, but how do they actually think? What kinds of biases afflict people? Did you know that there's a phenomenon called inattentional blindness? Inattentional blindness is about how you are unable to see certain things. When your attention is occupied over here, you're unable to see things that are happening right there, even if they're pretty outrageous. Even if something walks across your field of view and you're not focusing on it, and your attention is taken up with some cognitive activity, you will not remember seeing that guy in a gorilla suit going by. It's called inattentional blindness. Part of becoming a testing expert, I think, is becoming aware of things like inattentional blindness, because when you're looking at screens and you're trying to say, is the test passing or failing? You know, I was trying to break into somebody's system the other day. The first time I was ever paid to do penetration testing. It was wonderful. I love penetration testing. I hope I'm paid to do it again. But I broke into the system a half hour before I realized I'd broken into it.